Hi, welcome to 5 Wise Minutes again. And this time we're extremely lucky to have probably the most famous person in our portfolio, Martin Rand from VitalFields, and we're gonna zoom in into his story of his startup journey, which is, let me tell you, quite a bumpy ride. So hi Martin, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Sure. Whenever we have the newcomers in the startup recruitment process for the Startup Wise Guys Accelerator, they're always very cautious about telling about their business idea at first. And they're like, oh, what if somebody copies that? What if somebody steals that? Yeah. So they're rather attached to that, but I know that your story is kind of a proof of it doesn't really matter that much. No. So you started with the surfing app at Garage 48 Hackathon, right?
Yeah. So one thing I always tell young startuppers is don't worry about telling your business. Some are too secretive, so they think their idea will be stolen, but actually it's the reverse. They will, when speaking to a lot of people, they will usually get a lot more back than they will create the risk of somebody stealing their idea. In the startup world, execution is everything. An idea alone isn't actually that valuable. We actually created a surfing app at the hackathon in Estonia, and then it turned into a weather forecasting app for farmers, which turned into a disease forecasting app for farmers, which turned into a farm management system. And that was also, I guess, a result of talking to people about that and at some point realizing that these previous ideas didn't work.
And I love to use the term serendipity when it comes to networking and when it comes to these connections that you need for your business, for your investors. How it has been in your case, how much of the networking you have done very kind of consciously planning and doing some background research? And where's the chance or the luck playing its role in VitalFields' story?
Yeah, we have been very lucky. I think the most interesting connections have been made without any planning. People have done introductions which we would have never expected. And people say that, wow, you were lucky with this one. But actually, I also like the saying that luck is when chance meets preparation. So you have to be able to take and use that chance. I'll bring an example that with networking, the biggest investor in our company was Monsanto Growth Ventures. The whole path started from a hackathon in Ukraine. So I met a judge there at this hackathon whose husband was an agribusiness owner who introduced me to an American person working in the farm, who introduced me to someone in the US, who introduced me to Climate Corporation, who introduced me to Monsanto Growth Ventures. So I remember thinking, should I go into that hackathon? Because it wasn't really related to our business. Should I go there as a mentor? It actually paid off. So entrepreneurs always need to be ready for that chance to use that.
Yeah, it goes the same actually at the accelerator as well. Sometimes you meet like 100 mentors and they say, oh, I'm not sure if I can learn from this person if I check the background. But you never know, maybe that's your next investor, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or they might know someone else who will be extremely valuable for you. Yeah. So startups should never skip a chance to network.
And you just gave a very good example to the startups, an explanation of the investors' thinking, and you have been in a way both lucky and successful in the sense how your path developed with the exit of your company. So what is the advice or warning you would want to give to the startup founders about the investor relations?
I think what startups don't realize is that investors won't invest after the first time the startup goes and talks to them. And one analogy is that for an investor, a startup is like a train who's leaving the station. And the investor starts walking beside the train. If the train speeds up, the investor will jump on the train. If it slows down, he will go and find another train which speeds up. And this time, when this investor is walking, he is actually de-risking himself by not jumping on a train that maybe would have slowed down. And what the startups need to do, they need to create competition between investors. They need to talk to many investors and build the feeling with their business and with the way they communicate that this investor needs to invest now, otherwise they will miss the train.
Yeah, and I know that not only from your experience, but also some of our recent graduates, that when you say, oh, actually I have like half of the round committed already, or it's the last ticket left in the round, that usually this sense of urgency is also a good way to motivate them.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Otherwise, the investor will just say that I'm interested, and they will just continue to be interested but not commit.
Keep me posted.
Yeah.
Keep me posted. Okay, as the last question I want to ask you, so you have kind of achieved the dream that most of Startup Wise Guys, newly recruited startups are just dreaming of. So you have exited, you have sold your company. What's next?
I don't have many plans right now. My family will get bigger in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm not taking any deep engagements in the few upcoming months. Who knows what happens after that? I mentor a lot of companies right now. I like companies in the ag tech sector, but I don't only mentor those. I mentor a lot of other companies also. And this is what I do mainly, and who knows what will happen then in a few months. I'll be ready for this chance when it comes.
We'll try to touch base on you and to see where you have gone. So thanks a lot for your time, and thanks a lot for also giving back to the Startup Wise Guys community. Martin is our investor already for, I think, last few batches, and it's great to see this kind of circle doing the full cycle. So thank you, and let's wait next 5 wise minutes.